There's an old Norse concept, Greek possibly even, of the Ouroboros, which is a snake eating its own tail. It actually happens when snakes become very stressed and agitated. They seem to lose an idea of what is a predator, what is prey, and what is themselves, and they start eating themselves. And if the snake gets its tail too far down its gut, then it's fatal, and the tail won't come out again. And I'm afraid this seems to me to sum up what's happening with Keir Starmer's 6 pledges, because the 6 pledges are not dissimilar to the Prime Minister's 5 pledges. Who's going to remember 6 pledges? I can barely remember 3. 3 is an ideal number, the tricolon. 6. Anything more than 3 is simply not memorable. You remember the things that perhaps you have some sort of interest in, but you don't remember the overall dynamic. And that's the problem with these 6 pledges. It is a self-indulgent, self-gratifying, self-swallowing nonsense. And in the end, it's an engorged death wish. It's what's completely torpedoed and destroyed Rishi Sunak. And if Keir Starmer thinks that by following Sunak he's following a good example, he's in cloud cuckoo land. His 6 pledges will not be remembered. They may all be worthwhile. They may all be ideologically sound. They may not all be driven by the same sense of purpose. So, for example, his last pledge, which is to recruit 6,500 teachers, is great. I entirely salute it. But by taxing private schools, I don't salute that, because I don't think it's going to work. Increasing the numbers of teachers doesn't necessarily increase the quality of education. Increasing the number of doctors doesn't necessarily increase or save the NHS. Cutting NHS waiting lists by tackling tax avoidance and non-dom loopholes. No, again, you have to separate your priorities and your aims from how you're going to do them. The government has got into the same mess by stopping the boats simply by endorsing the Rwanda plan. Rwanda was one of many solutions that could have been taken to stop the boats. I think it was the wrong solution. I think I will be proven correct. And basing your NHS recovery on the assumption that the non-dom loophole will yield profits, on the assumption that tax avoidance will yield profits. Tax avoidance is something that is ideologically sound to pursue, but you can't assume that simply finding a criminal is going to produce a bucket load of cash. That's not why we search for criminals. We search for criminals in order to stop criminality, not to fund our next job. And it's that confusion of the identifying the problem with a particular solution or a particular purpose that lies that identifies Keir Starmer's 6 pledges as derivative, self-indulgent, and ultimately doomed. I think it's very sad that he's gone down this rather silly mantra route. Even when it comes to the big mantra rollouts like the Rosary and the various prayers in Buddhism, they succeed because of their simplicity, not because of their complexity. Complexity is then added to them, and complexity possibly suffocates their practice. But ultimately they are simple, and 6 pledges is not a simple concept. 5 pledges is not a simple concept. 3 pledges is all the brain can manage. 3 pledges. I can't manage any more. If I really want to learn 6, I have to sit down and work out how to memorize these 6 pledges. And even looking at them, I can't. The NHS waiting lists, the border security, Great British Energy, neighbourhood police, and teaching. All very valuable, all ideologically driven, and all instantly forgettable.